On October 27th, David Shannon was found dead after apparently falling 40 feet from a piece of machinery at a concrete plant in Carrboro. Carrboro Police Captain Chris Atack is pleading with the students to help fill in the missing pieces.
There are people right now at UNC that have that information, that know for sure what happened, and that would clear it up, but they're just not coming forward.
Shannon was a pledge at the Chi Phi fraternity. Hazing has been cited as one possible reason for Shannon's death, although the director of Greek life at UNC says he didn't think it was a factor. Atack is not so sure.
And, couple that with the desire of people not to come forward with information, what would you conclude?
Police can't for sure say that hazing was a factor in Shannon's death, but they don't think that they've been told all of the details in the events that occurred right here on that night. New members gathered recently to see Shannon's father, Hugh, speak. Authorities think that alcohol was a factor, and Hugh encouraged new pledges to limit their alcohol consumption.
You don't have to get trashed, and of course you shouldn't get trashed.
So did David get trashed and wind up dead?
David was a very responsible kid, at least before he came here and got involved in a youth culture, a college culture.
Vigils have been held since Shannon's death, and police have released 2 statements confirming his fall. They are still waiting on the autopsy to confirm the cause of death, but it has been delayed. The silence is frustrating to Atack, and it makes him question what being a fraternity brother really means, and what it means in terms of David's death.
What are these people about? Because they're not about coming to the truth. They're about something else. They're protecting themselves, protecting organizations.
And alcohol played a role in the death of David Shannon. That at least appears to be the case. The UNC student was found dead almost a year ago after falling from a piece of machinery at a concrete plant in Carrboro. The autopsy was finally released this week. It says the freshman died from a blunt trauma to the head, neck, and torso. Shannon was a pledge of the Chi Phi fraternity at the time. The autopsy also indicates Shannon had a blood alcohol level of 0.22 at the time of death. That's nearly 3 times the legal limit to drive. Carrboro police still think hazing may have been involved. Research in alcohol consumption suggests it is drinking 11 drinks like these in an hour that would cause a blood alcohol concentration of 0.22, the same BAC David Shannon had. The body can only burn 1 of those 11 drinks in an hour. Shannon's autopsy results showed his cause of death was a blunt force trauma to the head, neck, and torso, apparently due to falling off a piece of machinery at Ready Mix concrete plant. The report also states the cause of death was acute ethanol intoxication, also known as alcohol poisoning. Trooper Michael Blake of the North Carolina State Highway Patrol and Department of Public Safety questioned the circumstance of events that would lead up to a level of 0.22.
Were you taking care of yourself at that time? Probably not. There's probably not eating, you're just drinking. Probably not sleeping because you're drinking. Probably not doing other things because apparently you would be drinking.
Shannon was last seen drinking at a pregame house party on Macaulay Street. He was supposed to attend a sorority function at La Residence Restaurant and Bar after the pregame, but never showed. Instead, he ended up here, in Carrboro. So why did Shannon come to this concrete plant? More importantly, how did he get here? No car was found at the scene, which means he either walked or was driven. 0.22 BAC can cause loss of consciousness, loss of understanding, blackout, and requires help to stand and walk. Just 6 drinks more, and Shannon might have died solely from alcohol at 0.35. To get from this house here on Macaulay Street, where Shannon was last seen at a pregame, he would have had to walk nearly a mile to the concrete plant at Carrboro. That's roughly a 17-minute walk. So even if Shannon didn't need help to walk here, climbing that tower while intoxicated is a completely different challenge. As you can see, it would have taken climbing up this ladder, shimmying up this beam, and climbing again. Even if the trek and climbing the tower was possible, why do it? Captain Chris Atack of the Carrboro Police is pleading for help getting these answers.
There are people right now at UNC that have that information, that know for sure what happened, and that would clear it up, but they're just not coming forward.
Carrboro police are saying tonight they're stuck as far as the investigation into the death of David Shannon is concerned. It's been more than a year now since Shannon apparently fell to his death. Captain Chris Atack of the Carrboro Police says he believes people at UNC have the answers, but there's just a wall of silence. But the 911 tapes from the night in question were anything but silent. They paint a vivid picture of what the callers saw when they say they found Shannon at Ready Mix concrete plant.
We found our friend. He's not breathing. He's in a Carrboro construction site on Guthrie Avenue. I need an ambulance or something.
A second caller tried to help explain what they saw.
I don't know what's going on. His face is purple and he has cuts all over him.
You said he's not breathing?
I don't know. We just found him. We haven't talked to him like a day. We don't know where he is.
You said he's not breathing right now, correct?
Yes. I don't know. Is he breathing? Is he breathing?
Did you guys witness him pass out, or you just found him like this?
I promise you, no one has talked to him in a full day, and we just found him right now.
Are you right by him right now?
Yeah, we're right by him.
On the call, the operator coached through each chest compression in an attempt to revive Shannon.
I want you to count them out loud, and I'll count with you, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay?
31,
32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Stay with me. We got to do this together, okay? 53, 54, 55, 56. Stay with me, sir. You're doing a good job. Doing a good job. Is he breathing at all?
No.
They remained on the line until the ambulance arrived.
Do you know if it's a cement plant on Guthrie, sir? Is it a cement plant? Or
They're here. They're here right now.
Paramedics are there?
Yes.
Can you tell if he has any type of lacerations, any cuts, anything?
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I got it. I don't know. Oh, my God.
Okay.
Please, sir, can I hang up?
Are the paramedics there with him now?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and hang up.
Shannon was declared dead on the scene. His friends did not identify themselves when they called in. And we continue our look into the death of David Shannon, the first semester freshman who fell to his death last year. Police continue to think there were people with him the night that he died. You heard those chilling 911 calls of his friends trying to revive him last week. But how did they find him, and what took them so long? David Shannon was missing for a day before his friends found him here on Saturday, October 27th at 10:34 at night. But how did they locate him?
We tracked his phone location. We just found him at a construction site on Guthrie Avenue.
Police say his friends found Shannon by using an iPhone app called Find My Friends, like I have here. In order for this to work, Shannon would have had to have his phone on at some point while at the concrete plant in order for his phone to register the location. The police report says his last known location was at this house on Macaulay Street at 9 p.m. the night before.
Did you guys witness him pass out, or you just found him like this?
I promise you, no one has talked to him in a full day, and we just found him right now.
You might remember October 27th, the UNC versus NC State game when Giovanni Bernard made that epic touchdown, pulling the Heels through to victory. Shannon was supposed to be at that game and at the tailgate that morning. The reports say Shannon had multiple messages from people trying to reach out to him, including his family. Captain Chris Atack believes he knows where to find some missing details.
There are people who are with David that will have information that will kind of shed light on that, on those last few hours.
Shannon's last known response was an outgoing text message sent at 1:30 a.m. Saturday morning. His friends made the 911 calls later that evening at 10:34 p.m. Police searched Shannon's phone in hopes to get more answers, but they reached a dead end.
Somebody, sometime, their conscience will bother them. You know, you have a dead friend and you are not cooperating. What does that say about you?
Silent on all of this are the officials with the university. Well, no matter the pleas from the Carrboro Police, there's really very little the university can do. That story next week as we continue to look into the death of David Shannon. And we've been reporting all semester about the case of David Shannon, the UNC freshman who fell to his death just more than a year ago. Carrboro police continue their investigation and say that they need help. So what's the university doing? Officials say they're doing as much as they can. The Carrboro police believes there are people who know what happened to David Shannon.
There are people right now at UNC that have that information, that know for sure what happened, and that would clear it up, but they're just not coming forward.
Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs Winston Crisp wants to help ATAC and says,
I don't know how to judge that. I do know that we will, as a university, continue to support Carrboro in their investigation as they try to find out what happened. And as those facts become apparent, we'll act accordingly.
The freshman fell to his death at Ready Mix Concrete Plant in Carrboro after a pregame. But why did he go there, and how did he get there? ATAC is frustrated by what he calls the wall of silence surrounding these nagging questions.
What are these people about? Because they're not about coming to the truth. They're about something else. They're protecting themselves, protecting organizations.
Director of Greek Life, Aaron Bockenheimer, says the university is trying to help, but there are limits.
We've done everything we can do within the boundaries of our ability and the reality that there's an ongoing investigation.
So what are those boundaries? Department of Public Safety Officer Randy Young says,
this was Carrboro's investigation, so we didn't contribute other than just basic assistance.
If the university officials are worried about interfering with the Carrboro Police's investigation, how can they help ATAC find the answers? Shannon was a pledge at the Chi Phi fraternity, and with that in mind, ATAC says investigators can't rule out hazing as a possible cause of death. Carrboro police think hazing may have had something to do with Shannon's death, and the university has policies against hazing, and for that matter, it's against state law. The case is raising other questions as well.
The Chi Phi fraternity has been suspended and is subject to having its charter revoked. That's the same fraternity David Shannon was pledging when he mysteriously fell to his death last year.
While no one is saying Shannon's death and the suspension are directly related, inappropriate new member activities, another term for hazing, is one of the reasons cited for the action. Landon Dowdy has the story.
The 55 active members of the Chi Phi fraternity at UNC call this the White House on the Hill. But its 55 active members could be looking for another place to live and party, depending on the results of a chapter review by the national governing body. One of the issues, hazing. The same issue Carrboro police say may have been involved in the death of this Carolina freshman, David Shannon of Charlotte. Shannon's body was found here at this Carrboro cement plant in October of 2012. Investigators say he fell to his death from this structure after climbing some 30 feet up.
Is he breathing?
This frantic 911 call came after friends, including some members of the Chi Phi fraternity, say they found Shannon's body.
Can you tell if he has any type of lacerations, any cuts, anything?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
The state medical examiner says Shannon had a blood alcohol level of 0.22 at the time of his death, almost 3 times the legal limit. Alcohol is one of the issues involved in the fraternity's suspension. UNC Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs Winston Crisp stresses Shannon's death and the suspension are not directly related at the present time.
Carrboro Police continues to be engaged in an investigation into the events that surrounded the tragedy that ended David Shannon's life. That's an ongoing investigation that, as far as I know, has not reached any conclusions yet.
Captain Chris Atack of the Carrboro Police Department says hazing has been considered one of the possible factors in Shannon's death.
Couple that with the desire of people not to come forward with information, I mean, what would you conclude?
According to the fraternity's national organization, the suspension is a result of alleged risk management violations, including alcohol violations and inappropriate new member activities. In Chapel Hill, I'm Landon Dowdy.
Under suspension, all fraternity activities are suspended immediately. The national fraternity will decide if Chi Phi's charter will be revoked.